Hello again, and welcome back to Granny Dorothy Visits. Today's topic is how to stop fighting, and the first reading from Wayne Dyer's Everyday Wisdom. Fighting weakens, while harmony strengthens and empowers. And the next reading is from Julia Cameron's Heart Steps. And the quote at the top of the page is from Walt Whitman. All is procession. The universe is a procession with measured and beautiful motion. And the title is Those Who Love Me Come to My Side. As I ask for loving companions on my journey, I am led heart to heart and hand to hand to a friendlier world. As I extend my heart and my hand, the world meets me with open arms. As I reach for my wisdom and my compassion to aid others, others respond to me in kind. I am not alone. I am not unseen, unheard, a stranger in the world. As I hold myself a friend among friends, friendship finds me. As I hold myself a lover of life, life responds to me with love. In all times of sorrow and anxiety, I comfort myself through comforting the world. Through cherishing life, I allow life to cherish me. And the last reading is from Dr. Gladys McGarey, The Well-Lived Life. And this is called How to Stop Fighting. When life becomes challenging, it can be easy to feel that the whole world is working against us. For those who don't personally connect with the idea of a mystical order, it can appear that the difficult events, people, and circumstances of our lives are evidence that we're simply unlucky, or worse, for those who see life as divinely intended, as punishments that prove our unworthiness. Such challenges naturally inspire resistance in us. Yet they continue to arise our whole life long. Though what challenges us and how much we are challenged varies greatly from person to person and from community to community, no one, absolutely no one, escapes the fact that life is hard. We just have to make a small but pivotal shift in perspective from fighting to keep life out to welcoming it with open arms. As a young girl, I was a fighter. I was good at fighting. And once I repeated the first grade, I had plenty of opportunity to practice. My older brothers had taught me how to wrestle, while Margaret and Gordon watched with wide eyes, and I used my new skill set to become fiercely protective of myself and my family. The other kids responded to that by bullying me for nearly everything about the Taylor family life, such as our dusty seasons in the field and my parents' commitment to working with people society scorned. Even in India, we had life experiences that were far from common. And as much as I loved my childhood, every kid wants to fit in. One day, a diplomat's daughter teased me because my mother worked alongside my father. Little Claudia Knowles stood there with her thin blonde hair tied up in perfect hair ribbons and her prim British accent, and insisted that there was no way my mother could be a doctor. Surely she's a nurse. All women with jobs are nurses. Her voice sneered over the word jobs, as if she were describing a rat or a cockroach. And most aren't even that. They're proper mothers who stay at home and host teas. I don't remember what I said in response, but I'll never forget her look of shock as I punched her squarely in the nose. In short order, I was scrabbling with boys on the playground, exchanging comebacks with girls after school, and catching even more pointy British noses with the solid right hook my brother Carl taught me. One girl, her hair in perfect ringlets, got it after mocking the clothes I insisted upon choosing myself, much to my mother's chagrin. Others called me stupid and sang mean songs to help their rejection sink in. Then one morning I woke up and realized that besides my siblings, I didn't have a single friend. It was sometime shortly before puberty, around the time most kids become conscious of their social standing, and I suddenly recognized the tragedy of my situation. I lay there in bed and admitted to myself that if I didn't make a change, I would be friendless my whole life. I've got to stop fighting, I thought to myself. But how? I was as opinionated then as I am now, and I didn't want to be a pushover. I started thinking about the people in my life and wondering which one of them fought the least. Maybe I could figure out how they managed to find a different perspective. The answer came to me quickly. My mother. She never fought other people. She certainly didn't scrabble in the dust. She didn't even argue her disagreement verbally. And she was no pushover. She was able to accomplish what she wanted to in life, but she did it without fighting. I thought about the way she managed to approach every situation with delight and humor. Even when she disagreed with someone, with something someone had said, she continued to be curious about the person and considered that perhaps he or she had something else of value to offer. She was wise in the particular way that people with deep self-love are, strong, yet flexible at the same time, like the bolts of soft silk I saw on our family trips to the market. I realized that if I wanted to enjoy my life and the people in it, I'd have to quit fighting the kids who teased me and interact with them more positively instead. I'd have to act more like my mother. I'd have to bring humor, wisdom, self-worth, and every other tool I could find to the people who challenged me so I could meet their animosity without fighting back. That moment was pivotal for me. Since then, I've built strong connections with others, and most people find it hard to believe that there ever was a time when I struggled to have friends. Looking back more than 90 years later, I realized that it was a change in perspective that affected me in many ways. It wasn't just other kids I learned to stop fighting. It was life itself. Lying there in bed, I began to redirect my energy toward engaging with life instead of battling it, especially when things got tough. From that moment forward, I began to let life teach me, even when I disagreed, and even when it hurt. I started directing my energy toward finding what each challenge had to offer me, instead of draining myself by struggling to change what was happening. In doing so, I became strong, yet soft and flexible, like silk, like my mother. There's so much in life that we don't understand when it's happening. In bed that day, I thought I was just resolving my social challenge. I knew it was an important shift in thinking, but I had no idea how important it would become. That simple concept, stop fighting, would go on to become one of the greatest understandings of my life. It came from pain. It came from loneliness, rejection, and fear that things would always be as they were. Leading up to that moment, I didn't feel joyful or light. I felt heavy and dark. Yet that was the moment when everything changed for me. Such valuable lessons in her book. I mean, can you imagine what our world would be like if we would all stop fighting and change our perspective and try to be more understanding and tolerant and learn from different people in the situations? That's what I wish for you, is peace and happiness and joy and lots of love. Mwah. I send you my love. Till next Monday. Bye for now.